I'm just out in Minnesota, shirtless, walking in the morning. That's manly. Scare all your neighbors. Good morning, Americas. Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up? Yeah, we got things. We got things, guys. There's a couple things happening today in the markets. First of all, I think we got the ECB coming up in a few minutes. We go rocking in the free world. Yeah, let's see here. I think we got the ECB in a few minutes. I think it's 9:15. Regardless, it is. All right. We got flat open in the market. So look, all things considered, with all this kind of bank stuff going on, the fucking market's had a nice three big days here. We're at the top of little bit of top of resistance. But one thing I would just mention is that the tech market itself has held up very well. The tech market has held up very well, all things considered, with all this kind of banks and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. That's a what we call a green shoot, right? Some type of something positive that's happening, and we're really just kind of in a channel over here. We'll have to see, like, if we get to the top of the channel, do we start to drift back down to the bottom of the channel, or do we kind of bust through this? That'll give us a clue, because in the end, it kind of, we're just in a big range. We have held up well, all things considered, at least on the tech side. And there's been some actual stocks that are breaking out, like the Meta Nation. This thing, who would have thought this thing would be up, 250% this last, few months, but here we are. Now, I will say that most of this fucking move, sorry for the swearing, has been like untradeable, like yesterday. I don't know what you do with that. I don't know what you do with that. Day before, yeah, there's a little bit there, but otherwise, I don't know what you do with that. Day before, I don't really know what you do that. So it is true, some of these things are moving, but they ain't moving in the way I like to be moving. AMD also breaking out, right, to highs. So you've got a nice level here this is like from the earnings, from their earnings gapper right over here. And this thing is clearing it, right? So this is kind of two relative strength plays, but that should theoretically, if the market actually holds, that should lead the way, as we start to go through and do all of this kind of stuff. So just something to kind of be mindful of. We do got a couple hotties with some bodies, right? And if we even did, if you look at just kind of the QQQ did a 5-day sort, you start to see there's a whole host of these kind of things that are even some sneaky names that you wouldn't think are that hot. Beyond Meta, you can see mRNA's up 8%, Intel's been cruising, AMD, PDD's been pushing through. Crowd's had a nice few days too. Microsoft's had a nice few days, right? ZM, Tesla. So overall, I'd say things are holding up okay. We'll see more today. We have some news out in FRC. First, Republic Bank reportedly considering strategic options. Guys, strategic options is like the big FU of holy crap, we ain't got no monies anymore and we are desperate, right? Strategic options is like, I got to call my lawyer, right? That's what strategic option means. Holy shit, get Bob on the line. Ooh, I'm going to need some representation. So we'll see how this goes through. You've got kind of a spot here if it breaks down this 19. And this is amazing, right? Like this is like $160. This thing is priced for a zero. You already have 15 million shares in the pre-market. So, if that, yeah, I know, Armando, the DPST moves like crap. I mean, the problem with the DPST is that it's like you're in it, and by the end of the day, you're like, well, I moved like 10% or something. When you're in it, it moves like 2 pennies, 3 pennies, and just sitting there. It's really that's right, Harjinder. You know what's up. You know what's up, baby. So that's the only problem with DP. Now, Wall's been easy to borrow. Wall's been easy to borrow, and you do have, some room to go here. It's a little bit of a lower float, so it typically moves like crap. And guys, let me just be clear on something. The easy money on the bank shorts has been over. Like this went from 80 to 5. They're just trading vehicles now, and most likely, they have some big flushes and big pops and big this and big that. So just something to just keep in the back of your heads. Like, don't think this is like you're not gonna get rich shorting banks right now. Like that move already happened. that move already happened. These are just trading vehicles now, and we'll see like kind of what goes on. But if this wall cracks this bear flag here, you like maybe get this thing down into 25, 26 or something. Maybe 23, but this thing squeezes out of nowhere too. Like you could see in the morning, this thing just popped up like $6-7. You got to be so careful with these things. They're squeezing out of nowhere, and now they're just kind of shaking things up to a whole new set of buyers and sellers. Let's take a look at just see if we have any gappers. We are out of earnings season, guys. Remember, earnings season is where you've got to rack a good chunk of your profits in that earnings season. Like this earnings season, there was a lot of gappers and a lot of stuff moving around. And that's where you've got to like really smash it. Like that's why you don't want to trade so much, large caps and stuff or the mega caps, because you need to kind of rack up the percentage gains during earnings season, because now you're going to be stuck trying to grind out like 50 cents here, 50 cents here on most of the names. You got to rack it up during earnings season, because earnings season is over. You'll still have some trickle in, of course, but that's throughout the year. But in terms of the season, right? Path. Hey, so Path is an AI company. It had some of the fun with, not as much as AI did during this run here. It went from 11 to 18. But this one, obviously was a little bit more volatile. Yeah, let's add this. With AI stocks being in the shitter, I don't know if like this thing's been acting terrible. And with AI stocks in the crapper, I'm not sure how much juice it has, but maybe it gooses them up. You never know that, especially, we've got a flat open on the market right now. Let's add that. THMO, you don't want to even be a part of this, guys. This thing ramped like $3-4 into the post market, ramped some more in the pre-market. That gave it all back. This is one of those stocks that reminds me of Ingwe in our chat room, where it's like at the end of the day, you're like sweating and you're like, I wish I didn't do that. We don't want to be there. Ooh, Beaky, do you love me? Do you hold me? Beaky just an earnings rise, revenue falls. So look, all these Chinese stocks have been gapping up on earnings and fading for the most part, right? Baba did it on their earnings gap, and PDD did it on their earnings gap, and IQ had this reversal over here, and Billy had an earnings gap and it faded off. So Will Beaky, do you love me? Do you want me? Do you hold me? Might even be a better fader. Whoa, the ECB coming in hot. ECB hikes main refinancing rate by 50 points is expected. Okay, ECB coming in hot. ECB coming in hot. These damn euros. You just can't. They can't just stick around with their nice soccer, their gelatos, and the cigarettes, and leave the rest of us alone. Like, if I was European, like that's my life. I'm riding around a bicycle. I'm eating fucking gelatos. I'm slaying tourists, and I'm smoking ciggies all day. Right? Like, you don't get cancer smoking ciggies in Europe. This is like an American thing, I'm pretty sure. I'd be smoking those thin ones. Like, ooh la la. Look at mustache life. Now they're coming in on our banking. This is not as fun. All right, now let's get big guys. So coming back to this, I'll add this thing, but I'm actually thinking maybe it fades. Plus, it's just nice to say Beaky. Beaky, do you love me? Do you want me? We had it. Snappy chat. I didn't see any news on this. I'm guessing almost every time it does. Anytime it does anything, it's usually because of this TikTok stuff. So like some congressman's like, hey, I don't want you Utes of America using this ticky-tacky thing. And then Snapchat goes up and then it goes back down. And then somebody will be like, hey, this ticky-tacky thing is illegal. We're going to ban this thing. And then Snapchat goes up. And then some other, congressman's like, wait a minute, we love ticky-tacky. And then it comes back down. So I don't know what to do with that thing. We leave it alone. So you got a little bit of flag on UVIX and UVXY. Keep an eye. If this thing pushes through the sevens, I mean, it's a little bit messy. It's a little bit messy, but you got kind of third test on this. This is a 15-minute chart. Watch that 7 zone. I got it up. Sometimes when the mark, a couple days ago, for example, the trend was actually pretty easy on this one, but it was really tricky on like kind of shorting actual stocks. We just weren't getting the follow through. I'd keep that on the list. So you see this is TZA. So this is the small cap inverse small cap ETF. 3650. 3650. You could take this thing down. And by the way, for those of you guys that trade out of your IRAs and 401ks, you damn degenerates. You can't short probably in them, so you got to use something like this anyways. 3650, put an alert. Yo, this is probably bear flag. But this thing, never got a good read on it. Pass. These are all inverse ETFs. All right, a couple things that just kind of take mind of. It looks like we got some bleeders coming out in oil. You can see we're down a few days in a row, but not necessarily extended. Watch the lows on yesterday. If we get just a full-on bleed out, this has probably got a little bit of juice. If that's the case, you got a green to red spot, a little bit. It just did it, but on Oxy, and then even Axon, right? You can already see you had actually good range on this. It never does, but yesterday you did. Like this had pretty good range. Right? See this thing, 7-8 points. Like this is worth doing. Like oil stocks stink to trade, but when the range comes in hot like that, then you got to pay attention. You see this thing's about to bleed off. I like it. I like it. I like it. Good. Let's see what's on the downside here. Ooh, live person. Yeah, this thing, I don't even know what this thing, but it's hard shorting these like kind of $2 stocks. So FRC approaching lows for the bros. Don't know that. Yeah, you can see PCP, PACW, right? You've got this thing's all over the place. The only problem with this one has been that, in E-Trade, when you gotta short some of these, like they make you use the limit orders. So you're trying to get in fast, and you're like jamming this thing. Wall, watch this 28.50 in the at the open. We may just take it down. You can see DP. You guys love DP, dirty boys. You can add DP too. Look at all this shit. All of it. All these oils are bleeding. Spaceballs. All these steel stocks you can see here, like, right? Like you've got. Look at that stuff. That's nice, right? So when you see this kind of stuff, like when you see all these kind of bleed offs, this is a buenos. Yeah, you can see, right? Every single one of these is bleeding off. Even stuff like STLD. Look at this. So this is kind of a full blow. I think what's kind of happening is we're getting a little bit of rotation. People are leaving these kind of bank stocks, industrial stocks, oil stocks, right? And then they've been piling a little bit into, right, the tech names like AMD and Meta. Just a small rotation. I wouldn't say a big one because you're still stuck in range, but that'll just be something to kind of be mindful of. Let's see, this thing has been fading off at resistance nonstop every time it approaches this 244. So we may get a little bit of juice on some of these bad boys. If the market does go, 0.66 leads the way all the way. And lately when the market pushes and has any kind of bounce, coin's been leading the way every single time. It's a buenos. That's Spanish for good. So if we need longs, right, you got Coin, Meta, AMD, they've been leading the way. And then you want to kind of think of just like some oversold names if we got to play back and forth. And then on the other side, we show these goddamn banks what American justice looks like. Get out your 6-shooters. Get out your abacuses, your papers and pencils. Now let's go show them what we do. I have no clue if the market's up or down, but I'm always leaning towards a good old-fashioned bleed because I'm an anarchist at heart. I believe in freedom, which means no government, and it means that we're all just running around raping and killing each other with our 6-shooters because that's what freedom's all about. Goddamn right. Let's do this. All right. You guys good? That's the list. I'm sticking to it. Dude, I want to be a cowboy so bad. Dude, every time I watch Yellowstone, I'm like, man, I could go all in on this John Dutton look. It takes everything I have not to go all in on that thing. Like, that's my look. All right, let's do it. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. And guys, don't forget about some of these other ones like some of these oils and stuff. Sometimes we get a little too focused in on one type of name.